I'm gonna spend the next 100 days in hardcore fantasy Minecraft. That means I can't die when I fight this boss, or even this thing. What the heck is that? But I won't be alone in these 100 days. I'm bringing a friend, Winter, the Bruce to my Lee, the Panda to my Express. Our one and only goal in this video is to complete the main storyline quests in the mod pack. That can range from fighting the returning knight to summoning a stalker, something you do not want to mess with. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the next 100 days in fantasy Minecraft. So in this mod pack, we had to pick an origin, a special class that gives us some buffs or nerfs. See, I'm doing this video with Winter, so of course he had to go and pick the best origin, a half-elf. He has less villager prices, so the peasants like him more, night vision so he can just see whenever he wants, and 2 extra skills of his choosing. However, I, on the other hand, took just as long to pick Dragonborn, alright? Like, I don't even want to talk about it, okay? I specifically chose the white one, like the frost one, the snow type of dragon, and the upsides are so little, I don't even want to talk about it, because the downsides were like, I get slowness in hot biomes, I have to eat more food for some reason, like they're calling me fat, and I'm taller than normal. Not like some cool, like 3-block high tall. I'm like half a block taller, so just annoyingly tall. Look, you'll see all of this here in a minute, but I spawned into this world as the sun was already setting because I'm terrible at making choices. But I did get to see my beautiful short King Winter in the distance. Since we spawned in a village, we got to looting, stealing their bread and honor. But there is one special thing we wanted to do in this video, and that is literally beat every storyline quest. I probably already did that in the intro, but we're beating every storyline quest, and probably a lot that accompany it, but basically, we're quest hunting in this video. It's a bit different than normal, so on day 1, here we are starting off by observing a guard. Some guy sees 2 random people walk into his village, and all of a sudden, I'm just aim training on him. Like, this random dude is probably trying to enjoy his day, protect the village, and here I am staring at him. Each quest has some very random rewards that get much better as you go on. For now, though, I claimed what I could and got this little tiny treasure chest that spits out iron, gold, and emeralds. It's something, you know, not much, but it's a start. And then the only other thing we learned that day before we slept was that we each have skills to max out. And with 2 points on spawn, Winter decided to go with the luck route while I chose agility. I would much rather be the Flash than a leprechaun. If you agree with me, like the video and subscribe if you're new or if you're old. This has nothing to do with age. I'll just thank you for watching the video and be on my way. Day 2, the adventure begins. It's like Batman Begins, but with way less money and women. Winter and I start the journey north. First place I found was this lovely home of which I stole their library. And then inside I found this beautiful attic, realizing this place was meant for me. Because in these barrels, I found spruce. Lines of barrels full of spruce for no good reason, but I'll take it. I mean, I'm absolutely taking it. The next place I found was a little bit more run down than the last, but I don't judge. Inside was an anvil and a full-blown enchantment table. I mean, I like spruce and all, but this was pretty good. Out back, I also fought a witch, who is probably the owner here. She was technically easy to kill, but left me at half a heart staring at a battle tower. What in the world is that thing? That's when Winter showed up, in full iron. I left him for 12 seconds, and the first structure he found is full of iron. I should have gone with the leprechaun route. Since the chests are per player in this mod pack, I was actually able to go to that structure and get the same stuff like him. Kinda. Again, he's luckier than me, but I did get some iron. We moved on together through the sunset and into the night. The biomes were great for me as I am stronger in winter. So while we see snow on the ground, just know that I'm going to be doing more damage. But that's when we found an underground village. They thought they could hide from us down there. Nope, we're stealing it all. Food, books, farms, probably the iron golem's lives that keep them safe. Nope, those are ours. We aren't exactly known as nice explorers, but outside the village, I ran ahead while Winter looked at some quests and found this weird looking cave thing. Sure enough, I shouldn't have been there as some really random mobs came out and started to bomb me. What the heck did I do to you? I ran in fear, but turns out that place is called the prisoner's quarters. I see why. Keep them in there next time. Further north, we spotted an interesting domed structure, the perfect opportunity to test out my dragon ability. That is blinding. Holy cow, I can't see myself or my screen or anything ever again. I'm not using that. I don't want it. But we did get some honey bottles for our trouble, so that's nice. We returned to adventuring, because, like, we need more rewards than honey, but there was nothing afoot. So we took to the seas, breaking into a pirate ship and stealing their booty. We found this rubber-like floating duck thing. I don't know. It's not interesting, but we also got a few diamonds for our trouble, as well as many skill points. You know, because, like, we killed the entire crew. Anyway, I find it fun how we ended our night by stumbling upon another villager structure. You already know how this goes. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is some of the loot that I grabbed. I don't know where I got it from, because I'm not looking at the footage, but it was like some common items, like this fast claw. It allows me to attack much faster than normal MC, so I'm basically jitter clicking in whatever PvP system this is. It makes it a lot easier to take down mobs, like the pillager at the top of this tower. Why the heck were you up here? One thing I was able to make was a backpack. It's actually part of a quest as well, so mark that off. I made it to the gold tier and stored all of my treasure away. Back on the journey into the ocean unknown, we found this underwater temple looking thing. It was super cool, but after fighting stuff off and looking around, there was barely any loot. Thus, we chose to rock the pirate ship stealing journey instead. I made my way into the belly of the beast, okay? This was a much larger ship than before, and I had to fight off hordes of pillagers, skeletons, zombies, and creepers. My hearts did not like this turn of events very much, as I took on different things all at the same time for no frickin' reason. There happened to be a few minor cases of close calls, like, you know, 2 hearts or less. But eventually, winter made it to me, and we looted the place together, getting much TNT and hay. Okay, no, we did get some emeralds and gold, but I really wanted you to think that we only got hay from this entire pirate ship. The oceans were pretty good to us. So good, in fact, we found a new item. This one was kind of broken, I must say. It's called Train Bullet, a tome that allows the user to teleport within a time limit, like a pearl, but in a straight line sort of thing. I used it to get to the top of a hill before Winter knew what happened. He was staring around like, what the heck? But Winter ended up getting the same one, so he was able to come up here with me. Just a little less precise. However, it turns out that this hill was a structure, a puzzle structure, and if you know us, we are 2 people working off of the same brain cell.
You see me in an ore, lakes, tube coral, and orchids.
What color am I? In an ore, lakes, tube coral, and orchids.
That's blue and red. Because ore is redstone and lapis.
In lakes, though. Lakes, not oceans. Lakes. What is red in a lake?
Water. Nothing. I mean, wait.
That's crazy from you.
So it's a blue, is it? What is this? What are you making?
A way out. Oh! It worked!
Oh, thank God!
It worked! Inside was a secret, like, underground tunnel system. The first hole we went into had much spiders coming out of it, and at my size, navigating the place was an absolute nightmare. Why did I pick Dragonborn? We got some decent loot, but again, Winter is way luckier than me. Further into the structure, we found the skeleton room, full of crazy bone guys and this wicked fast bunny. It glided around the room like a cheetah on ice. That would actually be kind of funny to see. However, I did eventually kill it and get like 30 iron, 8 diamonds, and a couple emeralds. That book wasn't kidding up there. That thing really gave all the treasure to this single bunny. We finished looting up the place and left it a little better than we found it. Okay, so it's day 6 and I forgot about something already. Those skill points that we have. You see, you remember all those massive number of mobs that I took on at the detriment of my own life? Well, apparently since we've killed a lot, I have 17 points of skill points. I said points a lot. But instead of being smart, I put them all directly into speed, or agility, technically. I told you I like the flash, and I like moving quick, man. Winter probably put all of his into luck again because he found this giant-looking floating island. I mean, it was massive, and yes, I've seen this structure before. It's kind of a dungeon, but it's a really good find. We used the teleporting scrolls to get up, and I showed Winter the trap that was set for us. It's kind of easy to avoid, like really, we mine the throne and watch the sand fall. What a stupid trap. Free money, though. Ah! I rolled! I'm such an idiot. Thankfully, Winter jumped down to help me fight it off, because otherwise my smooth brain would have gotten me killed. We went through the dungeon, taking whatever we could from the chests and fighting off all of the mobs. Upstairs was technically supposed to have all the real treasure and a ton of mobs shooting me for no reason. We ran through the cobweb room like it was nothing, no hearts lost whatsoever. Don't look. And I was rewarded with a god apple and a fortune 3 book for my trouble. I will take that, I'll be honest. Back on the ground, we took a turn from adventuring and really focused on finding a spot to live. Before we found one, however, I maxed out agility, which led to so many quests needing to be claimed. I don't even know what happened. But since I was already here, the area looked nice, and this was literally the place I decided to build. Yep, that's how easy I am. I see a non-gree tree biome, and I'm like, yeah, alright, this looks nice, we'll live here. Winter was still close by, building on the opposite side of the lake. Both of us were currently in like the find the spot we want to put our house mode, so I chucked down all of my crap, chopped down some of the trees, and figured this would be a great place to rest for the next 100 days. To build my house right now, I'm gonna need one thing, one very big thing. Spruce. Thankfully, I thought ahead this time and kept some, so I used the bone meal I had to make massive trees of it in the back of the base. After cutting a bunch of it down, probably not enough for the house that I'm going to be making, but who cares, I made a level 30 enchant table. Turns out, doing quests gets you a lot of XP, but what it doesn't get you is lapis. I had to run around the world looking for an open cave not to have much luck. Unfortunately, it wasn't looking good, until I found this mine shaft. Surely it would be good, right? I mean, it's gotta be down here. Wrong. I still was not having any luck finding this blue ore, until I got to this massive open cave. Now, I wasn't planning on mining, like, at all. This was not my plan whatsoever. But while I was down here, I found this cool little dungeon area, and I got this legit looking scythe, dude. This thing is sick. I mean, it looks frosty enough, and I'm the frost dragon, so of course we're gonna be using it. However, in the entire day, I still didn't find lapis. I'm kind of a failure. I resumed the next set of days by mining. I mean, I did not plan on it, like I said, but who's gonna miss up on this rainbow ore? Then there was like this really cool red looking one, and then mithril itself. I don't know if that means anything, but it looks cool. Even though I found all of this stuff down here, lapis was the #1 thing I wanted, and I only got 19 within the entire trip. I waystoned home and enchanted some of the worst things in the world. My pickaxe was kinda okay, but the axe, just pure sharp 3? That is not the way to do it. Then I got like Thundering 3 on my scythe, which is an interesting pull, but would the lightning do damage to me? Well, I guess we'll figure out later when I whack Winter. The rest of the day was used for outlining the house. I start by terraforming the ground, making it a little bit more even, but I'll probably end up having to have the back door entry on the second floor, because this hill is way too steep. But when it comes to finishing up the first floor and, well, technically the rest of the house, I want to see some other materials for the walls, specifically calcite. Y'all should know by now that it's like my favorite block to use, but also one of the hardest to get. Like in vanilla Minecraft, it just doesn't spawn anywhere. However, lucky me, I actually wound up in a deposit of it when I was mining earlier, so I was just able to waystone back and grab a bunch. Unfortunately for me, it does look a little moldy, a little green in this mod pack, but apparently if I turn it into the smooth version, it'll look so much better. Thus, when I got back to base, I tested her out and it looked fantastic. And if you can't tell already, I'm going cottagecore vibes with this house and every house that I build in this 100 days. So yeah, the white dragon's gonna look great in a cottage house. I didn't think I'd ever say that sentence. However, the build that I was wanting to go for required one more thing that I didn't have. Dark oak. I know, controversial wood for me. It's actually very low on my list, but it complements well here. Personally, I don't think there are bad blocks in the game, just really bad pallets, so finding this was key to making my house. Thus, a journey began once again, round 2 of running around the world looking for something. Oh, and I should mention, all this time, Winter's also building a house of his own, just like on the other side of the lake. He's over there, he's chilling, and his house is pink. I'll let you figure out what that means later. Back on the mission though, we are off. We're off without a lot of food for some reason. I decided to not pack a little lunchy, and I'm just really hoping to find some along the way. One thing I do find annoying is that when I stumble across some trees and they look fine to me, like I could easily use this, but then I strip the log and it's just gross looking. Like, what are you doing? I know we're adventuring for dark oak, but it would still be a lot easier to just find a replacement log, but all of these strip ugly. I don't understand. That's why we're just gonna end up having to settle on the real thing. I was hoping to find it here in a legit dark oak village, but I did not get lucky with the chests. I mean, sometimes they have saplings inside, so I had hope. Eventually, an entire day later, I made it to a dark oak biome. Kinda. It's technically what I need, but this is not a regular dark oak tree. Back home now, I planted some of the saplings down and worked on the roof, the main area I wanted this wood. It ended up looking really good in this front section, so I continued building up the second story and making a much different roof than usual. The reason I'm bringing this up is because we're going for 2 small like stoops on the outside leading up to one larger one in the middle. It's really hard to describe. And for once, I'm actually building an even build. If you don't get what that means, it's basically normally I build on a 5, 7, 9, 11 odd square sort of thing, so that I always have a middle block to work with. However, on these outside sections, I'm actually going with even. And the reason for that is I'm going to do this sick vertical slab technique with like 2 different trapdoors facing each other. Trust me, it looks amazing, alright? We don't have vertical slabs, and we never will, because Mojang hates us builders, but this is a way to get around that. It looks great. Day 12, we are still working on the house here. You know, I'm getting in more structure, but to be fair, y'all know how I build, alright? I go in my inventory too much, I hit F5 all the time, and make up ideas as I go. So by the end of day 12, we pretty much had a very suspicious looking interior and a rough looking outside. But you get the picture. Today though, I actually went to go check on Winter's build, and bro, it's pink! No, it looks great. I mean, it's smaller than mine, because he's smart, but overall, it's a solid build. If you'll remember our first duo video together, like 2 years ago, he has much improved. Over to my base, he got to see the cottage vibe I'm going for, and he loved the trapdoor vertical slab idea that I mentioned. Still got a lot of work to do though. Speaking of, I switched out some of the walls for andesite and smooth cut calcite. Then I did the massive chore of adding in slabs, stairs, trapdoors, and lanterns evenly around the place. Mostly to light it up, but to also smooth out any corners. The less blocky a build looks, the better for some reason. I did a little more outside decor with leaves and signs, making them look like planter bushes, but now we move onto the inside. I added in some beams to the first floor, determining the different sections, and by the end of the day, we had a floor, roof, and staircase with a passable exterior. Day 14. Yeah, I know, we're still working on the house here, okay? There's more inside work to do, but we're almost there, I promise. This will be the last section of days I work on the house. Downstairs, we added in a chest area that, now that I see it, I'm not a fan of very much. Upstairs, we did a library for enchanting. Then we did the do-it-all section in the middle of the downstairs with like the furnace, the crafting tables, the barrels for some reason, because those get work done. Then we did this tiny little small kitchen under the stairs, you know, the cauldron, for some reason I put like campfires in the corner and then trapdoors on it. It's like storing meat or something. Whatever, it looks alright. And then I had to put my bed upstairs. Alright, fine, I'll make it look nicer. I went out and got some wool and then made that into carpet and edited it up top, and then nestled the bed in like a 1700 style bed frame made by a blind carpenter. Yeah, whatever, it looks fine. Another thing I got that day was a quest. I don't remember which one, but I'm happy to claim the reward. That time, I got a literal totem of undying. Say what you will, but for once, my luck was better than Winter's. Speaking of, I visited his almost done house today. It looks amazing. I'm actually so happy he learned how to build in the last 3 years. Then I did some enchanting. I obviously want to explore more, and will have to do that for quests, so I need better sets of gear. Since my tiny brain only knows about vanilla Minecraft, diamonds always hold a special place in my heart for strength. Basic diamond gear probably won't be greater later on, but for now it should work. And to be honest, the rest of the night was just Winter and I showing off houses to each other. You pick who has the best one down below in the comment section. Vote Winter for, Winter, and vote me for me. Wait, don't type me. I mean, you guys are gonna type Winter anyway. You guys always pick Winter. I spent the morning of day 21 fixing up some gear. You know, trying to get some sort of enchants working here. But the one common denominator is I'm not seeing protection, like regular old protection. I got some magic protection and like fire protection, but what happened to basic prop, man? I need this because Winter and I are going on an adventure soon. Kind of 50-50 on the adventure part, but we meet up at my place. I showed off some of my weapons, he showed off some of his, and we headed out. The quests in this mod pack are really what led us to leave the comfort of our new homes and venture into the wild. Now there are a few structures we stumble upon on the way, and I'll just hit on those. The first was a small hut on a beach. We only made it there by night, so a few mobs were already outside waiting to greet us, but it really didn't have anything. Next up was a village. We don't exactly need anything from these places anymore, so we kind of just spectated as they tried to defend the town. I also drank something I should not have and got a little, iffy. Yeah, we'll just go with iffy. It got iffy. But cows are around, so I ended up being fine. We're on the road again, the ice road, if you will, and we spotted a space needle in the sky. I don't even know what this could be. My teleporting book made it easy to reach the top, and I got a parachute from the chest. It's actually kind of an epic pull, I'll be honest, that saves me from fall damage, and I was able to use it to lightly glide over to the new structure, a church-looking castle thing. We broke inside like the good boys we are, and looked for stuff to steal. Unfortunately, it looked like this congregation had not met recently. I mean, just look at all these cobwebs around. Ain't no loot to be stole here. Moving on, we took the ice road to a battle tower, one a little harder than most, as this one had pillagers inside. And once we made it up to the top, we found a free evoker, which meant a free totem. However, the Vexes it spawned in were just a little annoying, and the witch that accompanied hit me with poison. Once again, I'm sitting here, dying. Not cool. But the chest gave us some diamond gear, and I was able to keep the totem. Eventually, the journey got boring, as all we could see around us was ice. Hours of teleporting through the one biome that makes me stronger, but also takes the longest to get through. We felt it was time to stave off the adventure itch and mine down. More quests we need in this pack include a bunch of mining stuff, like we have to get a bunch of ores. So this is how we start that. However, my tall self found it hard to strip mine down here, always having to be in a crouched position, which meant when we did find a cave, everything was much better. Now this caving adventure lasted multiple days, so what I can say is this. I mined a bunch of ores focused on the normal like gold, diamonds, and iron, but also while exploring things like mine shafts and dungeon spawners, I would get the occasional cool artifact or new weapon. Like I said though, we're both down here for quite some time, which is good that we had backpacks and full inventories, because there was a lot of stuff to be carrying around. Funny enough though, halfway through, Winter realized that he didn't know what a diamond looked like, so he had to go back all throughout the mine that he was just in to try and get some of the ones he had missed. I returned home with much so of an inventory full of loot. It ranged from emeralds, diamonds, and gold to silver, ruby, and mithril. I also used the levels I got to re-enchant a helmet, getting whatever this is, but landing on plain prot 3 in the next enchant. Could be better, but this is the first protection level I've ever seen. The rest of the time we had I used to smelt up all the stuff, unclassified junk if you will, and claim some more quests. Mining like 10 of an ore or smelting 10 of an ore will slowly complete quests, and we got unobtainium for one of them. I do have to say though, I obtained it, so it's kind of a bad name. However, research on this item actually led me down a rabbit hole which took me to the making of large chests. Ones that can store much more than 54 stacks. While doing so, I also found a new weapon, the adamantite ninjato. I don't have the actual thing, so like don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's called the ninjato. But you know me and ninja-like swords, I love them. But again, main task, this chest thing. I made a chest with so much storage, it had to have a scroll bar on the side of the screen. I ended up giving it to Winter because, you know, as much work as he puts into the outside of his house, he's not going to do anything on the interior, so the more storage for him is best. And I want to put in there that I'm a good friend, alright? I should have taken that chest for myself. It looks so cool. Mining-wise, we did a lot less of the quests than we had hoped. I mean, yes, they aren't actually in the main story quest, but it's still fun to get the free loot. What we still had yet to do was smelt them down for the quests to process, which meant a lot of waiting. While doing so, I got bored and enchanted my adamantite sword with sharpness, unbreaking, and soul devour? That sounds ominous. I also figured out that I had the ability to befriend a mimic chest. If I make a chest and then hit it with the friendly key, he will become my pet. Of course I wanted to do that, but when I did, he kind of just sat there. I'm fairly positive he bugged for some reason and now just sits as a permanent part of my house. I really hope he despawns. Day 23, I wanted to make a bow, something I can use long range, and after some research, I landed on the sabruing, which I will mispronounce. It costed very little to make and does some decent damage, I hope. I enchanted it with Gravity 3 and Radiance 1. Those I do not recognize, so maybe I should be saving for a power enchant later. I then decided to craft another ninjato in hopes of making a sharpness 5, but just got sharp 3 instead, so no combining for me. On a lesser note, the mimic is still there. No matter how many times I try to serrate the thing with my sword, it won't leave. Even Winter took a good look at it, in awe or disgust, we'll never know. It is a chest with a mouth after all. Since I'm the enchanting house here in the game, he has to come over here to do all of his bidding. Note to audience though, his house is actually too small to fit an enchantment table inside, which is why he comes here. Who has the better house now? Vote me, please, I beg. Anyway, he enchanted his stuff, probably had better luck than I did, and pulled the Cryptic Eye, an eye that you use to open the end portal. In this mod, you need 12 different special eyes to do it instead of just the normal ones you can get in vanilla. And he just happened to get one of them right here and now. So I framed it on the wall, and we have one down with 11 left to go. The reason we're gearing up, however, was to go into the prison realm. Remember this place? The cave with bombers that think it's funny to rush me a few days ago? Well, we're taking her on. We jumped into the portal, and inside we're met with a bunch of crates, hallways, and mobs. Now, in normal fashion, we gravitate towards any loot that we can see. So real adventuring we do in this place is just to kill mobs, and then find some stuff, and steal some stuff, and then kill more mobs. Along the way, you know, we were getting some free iron, some books, some weapons, etc. And once we clear out an entire floor, we move on through the structure and go down a path. Then in similar fashion, take out all of those mobs, steal their epic gear, and continue throughout the structure. That's kind of the entire idea behind this place, so I'll just tell you about what happened when we made it to the end. Yes, this place does have an end. Once we were past all the books we had stolen and ores we confiscated, lay a dimension new to us all the same. It was the Promenade of the Condemned. This place is an endless forest with houses full of crappy loot and spawning mobs. But what it's supposed to contain is like a giant eyeball boss fight. However, we ran into an issue. Neither of us had been here before, so we didn't exactly know how to find said boss. Even when reading about it on the wiki, we couldn't seem to follow the steps, or maybe our world just didn't have the right stuff. After almost 2 days of searching in here, we finally got understandably bored and left. Took us a minute to get back out, but once home, I stored up all of our loot and we are not going back. Alright, I'll be Franklin the Turtle with what happened on day 26. I didn't do anything fun or interesting. I sorted my storage system because, man, this is bad. I got ores in here with sticks and books and plants and So yeah, I decided to make a chest for every sort of category of item. Not that I will stick to this, but for now, I can at least look back on this and seem a little proud. Ignore this miscellaneous chest, by the way. We don't look at that one. I started out this next day by wanting chickens. You know how we got that bow the other day? Well, arrows will probably be something I need for it, which meant running around the map to grab some little critters. Thankfully, in this pack, you can literally just walk up to a chicken, pick them up, and ship them off to war. And by war, I mean a fenced-in area that will never grow. Then I went to go chat with Winter, you know, show him my bow, and he shows me his sick weapons. We are very much like children in that sense. But then we got to game planning. The beginning of the story quest is actually pretty easy, but requires some food. Thus, we had to kill some nearby animals, make a knife, and submit it all to the quest. Thankfully, we worked together on quests, and he unlocked Chapter 2. I claimed my rewards from the first of the 6 chapters and got a bunch of pre-made meals like Mama always did and 6 gold. That could have been another ingot, by the way, but I won't complain. After that, we check out the next quest we have to do. This relies on the Miriam Souls-like weaponry mod and a lot of the bosses from that. To continue in the storyline, I had to submit some moonstones, and then I had to craft a moonstone compass. Once I did, this will apparently point at something, wink wink, nudge nudge, thanks game. At this point, we know it's a boss. It's gotta be a boss. Since we have the combined IQ of a water bottle though, we thought, yeah, let's just follow this random compass into the great beyond. I honestly don't know what a frenzied shade is, but I guess that's where we're headed. On the next day, we finally made it to the old champion? That's not right, but we jumped in anyway. Oh, found him. Oh man, he sucks. Oh, this guy! This is the shade. Oh my god. My gosh. That was literally the easiest thing I've ever done.
I mean, it looked cool.
Yeah, okay, so that fight fight was bad. I can't even. That was such a that thing sucked, dude. That might have been the worst boss I've ever seen. Like I mean, we have some sick artifacts from all of our adventures, but that was just sad to watch. I normally make fun of the Wither in my videos, but this guy takes the cake. In the end, we did get a Lord Soul and the Essence of Evertide, apparently. I don't know what that does. Plus the completion of that quest. The next one was actually another boss fight, so now we have to find the returning knight to progress even further. But there's also some more side quests with the Souls-like weaponry mod that allow us to use that Lord Soul and craft certain powerful weapons. So all we had to do was go home and then make the Lord Soul cage, and then add in some extra items to obtain the Gale Force bow. I went with the bow this time because, you know what, it gives you speed on release, so I guess technically we shouldn't have made that one earlier because this one is way better. And I mean, come on, who doesn't want to have speed when you're fighting somebody? Speaking of fights, we're going after that knight guy. We start off the next day doing nothing but looking stupid. However, Winter does craft a compass that can lead us to a structure. His spawning structure, in fact. Although the issue is that it's like 8,000 blocks away, and we have to walk there with our running shoes. Which meant, you know, these section of days seems like it could have been a lot of interesting stuff, but instead it's just, us making our way downtown, walking fast, trying to kill the knight guy. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. I'm sorry I wrote that. Either way, here we are, we made it to the knight building. All we have to do is take a lost soul, which we find in the chests that are in here, and click it on this enchantment table. And then this big boy spawns in. He's a much bigger foe than the last guy. I tried to bow, but that didn't seem to work, so I went to his toes. The big swings he does, however, are menacing, and we try and avoid those at all costs. But when we got some big damage in, I noticed that there were healers trying to help this guy. But when I went to kill one of them, he one-hit Winter and I at the same time, popping my totem and putting us both at 1 HP. This sequence of events probably should have scared us, but instead we chose violence and went back in to finish the job. With his death, he dropped more Lord Soul stuff for weapons, his actual weapon, and best of all, the completion of Chapter 2's quests. Okay, never mind, this Nightfall Mace thing is actually pretty sick. Plus, it keeps his ability to smash the ground. I tried it on Winter. But then we checked out our quest line. From this guy's Lord Soul, I can actually make the Leviathan Axe, a permafrost weapon that totally fits the White Frost Dragon to a T. But to get it, I actually needed his Lord Soul, and Winter really wanted this one. I mean, it makes sense, I got the other one. So, you know, we went back, got all of this stuff to fight him again, and then killed him. Yeah, okay, this time it was a lot easier because we learned from our mistakes, but I did get the soul, which means I can craft that cool axe. However, right before I make the epic axe, I'm here to interrupt this program to bring you today's sponsor, Stumble Guys. That's right, I got sponsored by Stumble Guys. This game is a massive multiplayer party knockout game. What that means, I don't know, but when I loaded into a game, I felt like I was knocked out 24/7. Each round you make it through escalates with more chaos as the players get way better and know what they're doing. I, however, will never be crowned victor with how many times I kept failing. So if you've won Stumble Guys, just know you're better than me. The game has recently updated for Spooky Season, or as they say, the Nightland Season. Game modes and the Battle Pass have all been fit for Halloween, which has since passed because I have a terrible upload schedule. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Stumble Guys can also be downloaded on Steam, iOS, Android, and all cross-platforms with consoles. That means you can technically be a PC player like me on your phone. They don't want you to know that. You probably already have. So check out Stumble Guys during this Halloween season with the link down below in the description. If you load into a game, you'll probably see me falling off the map. Now back to crafting that Leviathan axe. Actually, first things first, my armor was in absolute shambles after the boss fights, which means I had to put it away in favor of wearing just regular iron and some leftover diamond pieces. Probably not the best call, but I don't want that stuff to break. It's already got good enchants on it. Yet, I still think I forgot about that sick weapon because I moved on to base preparations. If I'm somehow gonna live here for 100 days, or even more, like the video for 200 days, I need to have a plan. When looking about, I cleared some trees and noticed a natural terrain path, one that I can use for other builds later in the video. Of those builds, one of the first that I actually think I can do is a barn with a farm. It's like a man with a plan. That's what I'm doing, planning. So I went and grabbed some dirt, then terraformed a big portion of this down-sloping hill. I'm gonna have to say, I'll miss some of these trees, but we can replant them though when we've completed the base. Another spot I saw close to the house was this kind of semi-circle looking drop area. My new idea is to either have a mine shaft here going down or a museum type pitfall. I probably won't accomplish it in these 100 days, but it would be really cool to have like weapons and armor and stuff displayed in like a fall trap where you can kind of get into the middle and then go down and look at all of the stuff we've accomplished. Still though, these are all future plans. The next thing on my plate was villagers. Remember how my gear was atrociously destroyed? Well, I'm gonna need mending to fix it. That means this new area I'm clearing out now is going to be where I have a village, or quote unquote villagers. And to help me remember all of my ideas, I laid down a dirt block path in hopes that when I do take on this project, I'll know what past me was thinking. Another thing I did on day 34 was chop down a bunch of trees, ones that won't affect the environment, like all of the other times. Since I planted these, it was fine. Then I went back into the caves for the calcite deposit. I think the villager breeder might be something I take on sooner than I expected. For some reason, I woke up dizzy today, probably me on all the caffeine, but still, I don't know what's going on here. Must have had a rough night on the town. That's where the caffeine comes in. Speaking of town though, we're kind of making one today, or like starting to make one. The town hall of the village, the coup d'etat, come up with something else here. The breeder, the villager breeder, that's what I'm gonna be doing today. So I came up with an idea that would stick to my cottage core vibe of a house and started on the outline with spruce. This will end up being a 2-high structure with calcite walls and a roof of dark oak. A lot of the edges actually poke out on this build, you know, something you can kind of see with your eyeballs, and that's because the second floor is going to be larger than the bottom floor. I'm trying to make like this little archway windows thing around the base for some cool spots to like decorate, and having a massive second floor seems to help with that. And now that I'm mentioning the second floor, it'll actually be made of dark oak. I know, crazy choice, but after I wrap each window in spruce stairs, trapdoors, and slabs, it should highlight a lot better. I also partly got to some of the decorations, like I put down some leaves and whatnot, so you can kind of see the vibe that I'm going. I think it looks good. The main thing is this build has to be practical, and it's not practical until I work on a roof. Day 37 was roof time. Turns out I did not plan how I was going to make this roof. I just started placing dark oak stairs one up by the other. It ended up being pretty big. I'll be honest, it was a little bigger of a roof than I thought, but I also wanted to make like the corners stoop down a little bit, so in the middle it pointed up, but on the outside it was stooping. I don't know, I'm just going to use the word stooping, it's kind of fun. On the inside of the build, you know, near these trusses, I think that's what it's called, I think this is a truss, I put one spruce block out so that the roof had like a second roof underneath of it. It's kind of another way to highlight it, but it's like dark oak on the outside and then spruce and then the wall. Last comes all of the exterior decorations. We got lanterns placed everywhere, we got leaves, we got some outward facing logs, the sun. Wait, why is the sun coming up? Oops, I forgot to hit done recording and kept going into day 38. Speaking of day 38, we gotta look at my skills for a second, and it looks like I ended up maxing out stamina and I'm now working on strength. I really should have put some of that into luck like Winter though, because that man, he just keeps getting good stuff. Oh, Winter, speaking of him, that's right, he's also building. So I went to go check on his place, and he added in this nice little dock with a mini farm. I'll be honest, I'm a little jealous of his farm. It looks really cool. I like the lily pad design. I mean, it's not going to be a house full of villagers like mine, but at least it can hold wheat. Now, the next couple of days, I have to make the breeder part of this villager breeder. That requires villagers, so I found a tower full of them, and then I kidnapped one and boated him all the way home. Now, you might be asking yourself, wait, doesn't he have the carry-on mod installed? And that answer would be yes. Yes, I do. Which means the time I spent boating not one, but 2 villagers all the way back to our base was 100% useless. A waste of time, I tell ya. Want to know the best part of it all? You know, after getting the second one there, I realized I left the first one in the boat all alone at nighttime. Guess who turned into a zombie? Yay! This is great. This is all good if you ask me. Then to top it all off, Winter started a raid at my house. Yes, a raid. That's what we needed. So we had to fight through round after round of pillagers pulling up to my neighborhood thinking they can steal the one guy I didn't already kill. Yes, I do their job better than them, but who's gonna stop me? It surely wasn't gonna be Winter. He's attributing to 48% of the chaos himself. The raid was actually pretty successful, giving each of us a range of totems that we don't know how to use. Plus, in the upside, other than getting heart attacks halfway through, we got Hero of the Villager. I say villager because he's the only one alive. Now I know if I have 2 kids, at least one of them will make it. That's a joke. For legal reasons, that is a joke. Back to the fun stuff. I collected obsidian for a nether portal, forgetting I actually already had one in the back of my house. This is what happens when you take month-long breaks in between recording. The reason we're trying to go to the nether is because the next chapter of quests mostly happen in the nether. We have to do stuff like kill 10 pigmen, enter a nether fortress, fight off some sort of blazing eye thing, but whatever, we'll save that for later. Upon entering the nether, we split up like the mystery gang looking for clues. It's been a while since I was in hell, so everything looked different. We train bulleted through a couple of biomes until stumbling upon a fortress. Technically, this was a quest complete, we just had to kill some wither skeletons and blazes now. Easy enough, the place was full of them. I actually was tasked with the blaze quest while Winter did the other one. I may or may not have stopped around for some loot, but eventually I took my job seriously and completed the quest. I also spotted this like giant cube structure kind of near the lava's surface, and since I don't know anything, Winter and I decided to go check it out. Turns out inside there's this little middle pillar with a very questionable block, and you know, we predict this could be a boss spawner. Maybe if we touch it, we'll spawn a boss. No, you idiots. If you touch it, you will spawn a boss. Guess what we did? We mined it, and a giant fist came out of the ground and started beating us up. I thought this would kind of be an easy fight, but this thing smacked us around more than moms after you forget to defrost dinner. At one point, I thought I escaped its grasp, being safe behind this pillar. Nope, that's a laser. It did not give up on killing me. At one point, I became legally blind. But in all of my running, Winter managed to focus his health, getting it down to 1 HP and stealing my thunder by hitting the last shot. Remember how we needed to fight some sort of like nether eye thing? Well, we did it. This was the quest I talked about earlier. We did not know that going in, but netherite was a reward, so it's fine by us. We left this hellhole and sorted out inventories as well as claimed a bunch of the quests. To my count, in fact, I'm up like 3 nether stars and almost 70 levels for some reason. The rewards are kind of getting out of hand. However, that's when I remembered that good old Bob, a soldier of mine, was turned into a zombie because I left him in a boat. So I ran back to his hometown, stole his wife, and gave it to Joe, the one who survived. Waking up on day 43, I actually fed my chickens for once. Oh, also, as you can tell, it's already winter. The season, not the person. The reason for this is because I left the server running on accident, so we missed fall completely. I went out in this bad weather to get some food for good old Joe and his new wife. That way they can make me more workers. I found an entire barn full of wheat, which was great, and then opted to use a book to break it all. Don't ask me why, it clearly looks weird and I didn't care in the moment. Once I got back, I made a lectern and then all of the bread that I could ever throw to Joe and Miss Joe. Hopefully they get to work for me. Day 44, guess what I'm doing? I'm re-rolling, you know, I am re-rolling. Winter actually came over and made the process a lot easier. We snagged mending quite early on, and since Winter is a half-elf, the better race, he bought all of the books that we could need on the cheap. I added that and a bunch of other stuff to my armor so that I can get back to wearing the cool set of stuff that I made and not iron. I mean, just look at these boots. How many enchantments even is that? Back in the nether, Winter and I were searching for more quests to do, or mostly loot cool structures. Unfortunately, he's much better at this than I am, so the only really cool place I found on my own was this dome thing? I don't know what it is. Inside there were piglins being captured and tortured by wither skeletons. I don't know if I'm against this or not, but apparently the hierarchy in the nether is wither skeletons on top. I was not familiar with y'all's game. After that, I came across this city on lava, which looks great, but has 0 loot to its name. This legit could have been an epic place to be, but I mean, it just looks cool. That concluded my nether trip. I really should look at quests before I go to new places, which is something we can do on day 46, as we have to go fight the night lich. This thing is a very annoying fight, as it just launches cannonballs at you and only takes damage from bows while it teleports around its tower. So we geared up, which really just meant tracked the structure with a compass and grabbed some arrows. Then we were off into the snowy wasteland to find his home. A day of searching later, and there it was, but there happened to be a slight issue. The moment we got up there, the water started leaking off, and for some reason it had so many particles it was lagging our games. I can already tell this will not be a good boss fight. We put in the soul stars and the lich was born. We both decided to sit at the top of the tower and just kind of wait and shoot him when we saw him. The annoying guy also spawns phantoms, so that's not cool. But worst of all, he's never in sight. This teleportation thing is so annoying. Eventually, with Winter's help, we were draining its health. Every time you see his health go below one of those dots, he seems to get very angry and throws out all of his moves at once, whether that's like a bunch of bombs, some phantoms, or his balls, we'll never know. For his last phase of life, Winter and I just chain hit him to death and all of his loot fell into the ocean. I think we were both just happy to be done with this guy so we can get away from the laggy water particles. I also got some pretty terrible enchantment books from the guy and the ancient anima, apart to a few cool looking items. Winter really wanted it because it will allow him to make a machine that lets him fly in creative at his base. But first, we had to return home for that. One long walk later, and yes, he was able to make the thingy. We tested it out in his front yard, and you can legit just float up forever. Plus, if you end up falling in this zone, you won't take any fall damage. We technically got 2 of those ancient anima things, but I forgot to craft mine for some reason. Day 48. I'll be honest, we were just running through the Nether. Like, I don't actually know why we were so obsessed with going in this direction. I was booking it through biome after biome, ignoring all of the structures around me, mostly because I already knew what they did. But the only reason my journey came to an end was because I found that like hand boss thing again and wanted to solo it. However, instead of doing that, my game crashed. So that was a fun day. When I got back in the game, the Nether Gauntlet had healed itself, but so had my brain. This boss was pretty easy, so whenever it was too far, I would bow, and then when he got close, I would melee him. It was a bit harder not having Winter for it to track on, but my bow skills are top notch, and I wasn't going to miss out on free netherite from a poor excuse of a boss like this. Furthermore, Winter and I were back on the hunt for something. I'm still not sure what on earth we're doing out here, but it's clearly some sort of goal. Along the way, I was picking up some free loot from structures, specifically these like piglin church tower things. They had some gold blocks up top, a couple spawners, and best of all, I would get netherite from it. You know, netherite ingots or maybe just some scrap, but still, it's pretty good. After some time, I've finally realized that we are actually heading to another boss. I cannot stress how many we fight in this video. But this one happens to be 8,000 blocks away in the Nether this time. I mean, it's not that bad because along the way, we stumbled into the largest Nether structure I have ever seen. It was like a piglin's dream fort. It was also kind of my dream because when I got there, I got to watch Winter run for his life from the guards. Now, this place is meant to be super epic. The one time I saw this place was like in a video a few years ago, and you could get a bunch of netherite and netherite gear, or supposedly. That's what the video would have led me to believe. But it is still a massive structure. I mean, in terms of force, this place has it in droves. One of the guards took you like a full minute to kill while jitter clicking with our weapons. It was probably not the best idea to stick around here, but we were determined to find this mysterious epic gear I was hoping for. Room after room, tower after tower, super scary experience after another. The only real loot I was getting was food from these dorm-like facilities. I mean, I won't complain about that many golden apples, because I'm sure they're going to come in handy, but yeah, I think I was wrong about this place. After searching it thoroughly, we never found any OP loot or chests. We were kind of just being bombarded by piglins the entire time. Unless we didn't search hard enough and there is stuff actually here. You know what, just let me know down below in the comments. If you've seen this place before, where's the good stuff? Back on the hunt for finding this Decaying king, and on day 52, we actually made it to his house. The building itself looked really cool, even on the outside. I mean, it would be nice if this were my place, but the man on the inside, yep, that's one creepy looking boss. Other than him already trying to kill us, I had to ready up for the battle. However, he decided it was time. I was pulled in, and to avoid being on fire, I had to eat a god apple. That was probably not the best idea, because I could have died from just all the lava pouring out everywhere. But worse than that is I was attempting to 1v1 him, as I jitter click as fast as possible in hopes I win before he kills me. Fun fact, I failed and popped another totem, but Winter got in there just in time, killing the Decaying king and finishing off another 2 quests in the Nether storyline. He also got his soul and this like sick darkened blade thing. If it was more like the Leviathan axe, I might have used it, but I'm still going for that, if in-game me remembers that it exists. With that challenge complete, Chapter 3 was super close to being done. I was able to claim the end reward and even pick a reward of my choice. I picked 3 more levels to my hearts, which, in hindsight, I should have saved till the very end because the skill wasn't maxed out, which meant I kind of just used skill points for it. You could technically go higher than 20 out of 20, and, you know, I didn't think about that. But now we're on to Chapter 4, as that is unlocked, so we can check it out. For some reason, Chapter 4 was kind of all about home goods, and most of the tasks involve stuff you would find at home. I also got some sick ores as rewards and used them to make these super large chests for all my junk. Then I totally fixed up my storage by mining every chest and moving it into a single one. This is probably going to be hard to find stuff in. Anyway, back to this questing stuff. One of the things we had to make was a crafting terminal. Apparently, it was the perfect time to unlock Chapter 4, as when I made it and put it next to these chests, all of the items were just in a search menu ready to go, and there was already a crafting table inside. Basically, if a chest is touching a chest and is touching this terminal, all of it just goes inside the terminal. This is great for organization. I am so glad we got past the Nether stage, because unlocking this stuff was, like, awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love finding bosses and everything, but organization is key. Okay, so, you know, you kind of missed some stuff, and that's because this dumb YouTuber decided to not hit the record button again. Turns out the chapter that I was just talking about was actually 3.5. I mean, I'm happy it had some cool stuff in it, but 4 mostly had to do with this dumb boss called the Wither. Well, in the time that you missed, we ended up beating him and submitted all of the stuff to get through to Chapter 5 quests. This was the beginning of the end, which means, of course, we have to get through all of these challenges to find the end and beat up a dragon. So it turns out, we'll be needing those 11 other eyes I talked about way earlier in the video, faster than planned. Day 55. It had actually been like months since Winter and I played this world, so I had no idea what we were originally working on. Yeah, time flies when you forget to message your friend. Okay, it's not like that. Winter has a life, and I don't like bothering him during, you know, like college or whatever he's doing. However, since we are back, I went to work on the villager trading hall. I cleared out some land and put some spruce pillars to show the outline. I don't exactly know why I'm building this. We have like 1 villager at the moment. Oh wait, I probably just like forgot about that completely and was just rolling with it. Well, since we already know my style of building, I'll just run through. This time I wanted a building with 2 roofs on the left and right side and a small one in the center. And the inside was just going to be 2 lanes where I can put villagers. You already know my block palette because, you know, I've built stuff before in this video. But even in these 2 days, I could not finish it. Day 57, I was back to work on the roof. Probably the longest part just because of how annoying it was to fill out. I mean, seriously, who designed this layout? Because he should be fired. Once the outside roof was done, I made an interior roof, and as I said, really stuck with the 2-lane look. For now, I'm just going to keep it an open concept in here, because, again, I think I have 1 villager, and Joe and his wife really like the other building. Since Winter was still working on his own project, I had to actually keep working on mine. Oh, you want to see his project? Well, here it is. A lopsided moon fountain. I mean, I know he's trying his best, so I commend him, but it's clearly not mooning. While he fixed that, I got to work on my trading hall's exterior decor. I came up with this like 2-window system in every quadrant with stairs bringing out the wall and leaves to add color. Winter also told me about the blazing backpack, another upgrade to our diamond one, and since I use this so much, it's kind of getting full. I was able to turn mine into this massive behemoth very long backpack. I mean, I don't know why it's this long, but I mean, it's good. Compensating much? Anyway, we gotta focus on this dragon fight, and with 11 eyes to go, it could take a while. Well, technically we have collected a couple more eyes along the way. We have the Nether Eye, the Wither Eye, the Cryptic Eye, Magical Eye, and Witch Eye, which means we actually only have 7 to go, and Winter was gonna focus on some of the eyes while I did the other half. So, adventure time. Not the show, but we're leaving home for a while. I forget the name of it, but one of the main ones I was going for is the Pillager Eye. My idea to get to Pillager Outpost quicker was the ocean. They kind of spawn here more than anywhere else for some reason, so I stuck to the water. The first few places I looted were some pirate ships, mainly for ores and stuff. I don't think the pirates have an eye, but side quests are fun too. Then I stumbled upon an underwater desert temple looking for probably the water eye, that might be a thing, but it was just a plain old ores down here. However, we do have a buried treasure map, so I followed that map in hopes of getting another eye, but I made a mistake. You see, I don't understand these maps, so look at me go, mining everywhere to try and figure out this treasure. I honestly don't want to show this footage because I'm atrocious at trying to locate these chests. I had to stream my game to Winter in Discord just to find it. Look at that hole. What am I doing? Okay, turns out I lied about the pirate eye thing. It's real. I just found it. Not in a pirate ship, but like, hey, that makes 8 of 12. And then I ended up giving up on the pillager eye at sea quest because like, I don't think I'm gonna find, technically it is also a land item, and the pirate ships are not being lucky to me. Thankfully, a few biomes away lay a new pillager type of building, which was full of the corrupted eye. I mean, look at how many there are. I was trying to find these in the ocean, and there's just like 8 of them in here. What is going on? Since I'd been out on this adventure for quite some time solo, Winter wanted to meet up. I forget how many eyes he's gotten, or if any. I think right now we're at like 7 or so. I might have misspoke earlier. I think now we're at 7. But anyway, while we were together, we ended up finding the literal Stronghold. Kinda. This massive castle thing is another pillager outpost full of enemies, but it also has one specific thing. But first, we had to run through and take out all of the enemies. And there were a lot of them. At one point, I may have had to flee for my life over to Winter because I tried doing way too much. And I think this place was also doing too much. What is with the Vexes? I don't know why these keep spawning. I had no idea where they were coming from either. When I found the culprit, trust me, he done lost his life, and I gained an extra one. After cleaning house around here, I introduced Winter to the end portal. Yeah, it's just here for some reason. I don't know why there happens to be one here, but we set down a waystone for the future so we can come back and put in the 12 that we end up getting. Speaking of, Winter has been in the desert looking for one of the eyes, and I've now joined him on that adventure. Unfortunately, I think I brought down the luck count, unless he already has it. I don't remember. I think we were going for the desert one. It's either the desert or cold. We're looking for eyes still, though. On day 65, I had branched off a little bit, but I'll meet up with him in a second. I got the evil eye when I mastered out a cleric villager. I may have stolen his house and put him in a hole to do this, but it was pretty easy to do when you're... Hello? It's pretty easy to do when you're rich. But we were still on the hunt for Winter's cold eye, because, you know, he's got to be useful to the team at some point. Oh wait, I lied. Is that an igloo with a basement? What's this? The cold eye that took him forever to find, and here I am just getting it? Yeah, shocker, we're at 9 of 12. Still up on the docket is that desert eye though. With this like nature's compass or whatever it's called, we traveled a casual 3,000 blocks just to be trolled. This is not no normal temple. This thing got puzzles in it. The only way to get down to the basement is to do some of these weird tasks, but there were too many things spawning in. Winter, on the other hand, had like no effect to the mining fatigue that this place is supposed to give you, so he just broke in. I mean, that's not how you're supposed to do it, but I'll take it. Of course, we abused that power and made our way right to the Pharaoh's room. Many enemies were awaiting, but holy, they're just XP at this point. Look at me go, we are strong. Winter ended up getting the eye from here, and for the 11th, we made our way to a nearby mineshaft, where I found the lost eye. We legit just need one more at this point, and we can go beat up a dragon. The last one we went for was in a Bastion, which just meant going to the Nether. Then using the compass that Winter's had the entire time, and then not get it in the first Bastion I find. This is so stupid. Winter got it though, because he's, you know, luckier. And shared chest supremacy, am I right? We've got all 12 now. The only current issue is that we have to find the legitimate stronghold, I guess, because technically having the portal at the other place doesn't count. we have to actually go find the stronghold, unlock the quest, go back to our other portal, put in the eyes, and then go beat up a dragon. This is more complicated than I thought. So on day 68, we made the journey. It was not fun, because we already had a place in mind where we wanted to enter the end. And for some reason, we had to use the special eyes to find this place, not the regular ones, so I'm glad I grabbed those extra corrupted ones from the pillagers. But as soon as we made it there, we marked it off like, okay, you know what, cool, this is a stronghold. But then we used our wormhole to get back to the sick castle place. I gave him 6, and then I kept 6, and we decided to put them in together, and this looks so cool for no reason. Like, in all honesty, I kinda like this system. It looks so much better, and yeah, it takes forever, but it's still super sick. And in this end, the dragon actually has to spawn in, like it has to be summoned by, not really the player, but kind of by us entering like the actual end. So we got to watch the entire animation. All the towers spawned in, and then the dragon summons up in the sky with this awesome looking boss bar. Now I can finally use my Gale Force bow, which was actually very effective. However, this dragon perches at the top of the cathedral thing in the middle, so we had to climb the stairs, and fun fact, jumping isn't fast, so I completely missed its perch. We pelted it in the meantime, and when she came back, I got bullied off this frickin' tower. I mean, what the heck you doing, woman? I only want to beat my challenges. Then it seems that Winter and I entered a bow and arrow competition because we both started hitting our shots one by one, if you don't count me missing all of mine. But I made it count in the end, hitting the very last shot and killing the dragon, taking Winter's glory. The dragon also decided to drop a Lord Soul, which is sick, because like, that means we can make some cool stuff out of her. But from there, we had to claim some challenges and open so many treasure boxes. Like, look at this. Who needs all of this loot? However, we did also get the dragon head from a quest, which means we were able to make this super cool looking staff. It obviously has like the kind of effects that the dragon has. I can kind of shoot the dragon breath and then place down an area of effect of dragon breath, which is cool, but look at it, dude. This is the coolest thing we have gotten, and it does some really good damage too. After getting all of this stuff, we decided, you know what, we'll leave the elytras for later. We don't need them right now. We're too good for that. So we just decided to head home. Day 70, I start out with some beds for the villager breeder, cause I know we're gonna need them. Specifically because I'm finally going to make that Leviathan axe. I got all of the lost souls, all of the iron blocks, the sticks, the moonstones, and the Lord Soul that I've been holding onto for so long, ready to trade in for my beautiful axe. Look at this thing! I mean, okay, cool, the dragon staff was sick, but look at it, dude! You can actually throw it out and it returns to you. It's a way better trident with frost powers, and to end out the day, I enchanted it with sharp 4, baby! That's the coolest looking thing ever! However, Winter and I are a little antsy, so after that singular day break, we're headed back to the end. And furthermore, we're bridging over to the new world. The world of epic biome, one after another. You know, with the elytra and everything. But unfortunately, no matter how many biomes I come across, my elytra luck is terrible. To fix that, I use the thing called editing and show you when I just make it to an end city. Now at this stage in the game, the loot from this place is fairly simple. I mean, I'll indulge in the charms or necklaces that I get that'll make me like stronger, but other than that, I'm here for one thing and one thing only. This elytra. And it's a cool looking purple one too. But another item I wanted to collect was the dragon head. So I broke it off into the void and jumped after it like an idiot. Pause. Quick backstory here. Winter had just gotten the elytra for himself and told me that he got a quest that involved fireworks. So I thought I could just claim them in the void. Play the clip. As I plummet to my death and miss the dragon head on the way, I claimed the wrong quests and missed out on all of that stuff because my inventory was full. So I yucked whatever I could out of my inventory, went in, found the quest manually, and got the fireworks to get the heck out of Dodge. Dude, I don't know how I'm alive. Like, that was the dumbest thing I have ever chosen to do. We're returning home after that. I am not staying in the end with my brain operating at 0% power. Speaking of 0% power, the next 6 days actually corrupted on my computer. As a content creator, it does suck when this happens, so I think I've come up with the best solution I can think of that allows you guys to still experience the next 6 days, just in a completely different format. I went ahead and created a completely different world. It is creative, it is not hardcore. I matched my gear similarly as best I could, and replayed the 2 boss fights and one of the main quests that we did in the next 6 days. Of course, Winter isn't there. This is literally just me, live audio, telling you what happened. Feel free to skip to day 79 if you want to resume Winter and I playing this, because technically this isn't really the 100 days. Anyway, I'll let live voiceover welcome and take over. Okay, so I lost footage. You know, that's my bad, but I'll tell you what happened. So we decided to go through some quests. We went through the Chapter 5 beginning of the end quests. As you guys know, we beat the Ender Dragon, we went and got an Elytra. But this was one of the quests that we had to do before we could unlock Chapter 5, Kill the Eye. In doing so, I had to look up the actual portal, or not really a portal, but it's more like the summoning statue, or whatever this thing I'm about to build is called. I think this is what it was. Don't quote me on it because it's been like 5 months since I recorded with Winter. But it was something along the lines of this type of structure with the dragon egg inside. And then this would spawn the eye. I tried it earlier and it didn't actually work, so I have the eye spawn egg. If that all of a sudden starts, you know, hold on. All right, there. Now it won't start working. This is what we had to fight. I'm just realizing I have to fight it now. But yeah, this is what we had to fight. It's got 1,000 health, and it was just Winter and I, but at some point it's supposed to spawn in a couple more of its own eyes, and this was literally just a fight. It's pretty boring, I'll be honest. Like, we were just shooting at it, it wasn't doing any damage, and then it would spawn clones of itself. See, there we go, there's a clone. There's the clones. Now I can't see anything, and I'm getting hit. Okay, yeah, so when you actually kill one, it like breaks the eye a little bit. As you can see, that one is broken now, which means those are the fake ones. Oh, and I'm over here now. One more hit, and... okay, wait, hold on. One more hit. One more... come on, don't do this to me. One more... at some point. We're gonna hit it, and it's gonna die. Oh, nope, I did. Look at that, there it is. Okay. So, now, this is something that spawns when you end up killing the eye, is this platform right here. Winter and I had no idea what this was, because there's literally a void portal block right here. And so, in our idiocy, we were like, oh, look at that. There's something here. Let's just walk. Hold on. Do I need a pearl for this? Oh, I was right. Okay. So, in our stupidity, we pearled, and fought this guy. The Void Shadow. I have no idea what... do you mind? I'm trying to explain stuff. I have no idea what this guy is, but he literally just goes in a circle. And so we had to fight him. Oh, these things blow up, I'm pretty sure. Something blows up. I don't remember. The fight was really long because this guy also has a ton of health. But yeah, it was just us two versus this Void Shadow thing. Oh, it was actually really nice to do with this bow because, like, as soon as I shoot, I can just chase after him again. Oh, those are the things that blow up. Those little, those things right there. If you run into them, I'll show you. There you go. They blow up, which did make this fight a little bit harder. Ah, there we go. There's the other mode. Okay, yeah. So when you fight off enough stuff, he kind of becomes like dark, and everything gets faster. He is still, I think, taking damage. I have no idea. He was when we were fighting him. Oh! Oh, then he gets all mad. Look at this. What the heck's he doing? Oh, I'm blind. I am blinded. Do we have to fight him? What is that? Mines? Don't matter. Alright, there we go. And that's killing the Void Shadow and his little minions here. Get these little guys out of here. No one needs you anymore. He's dead. Your boss is gone. And then, I think that's a portal home. This spawns in. You get some stuff. You get your dragon egg back from when the eye spawned in. There's an iron helmet. Really? That's what you guys... Oh, there's some good books here, actually. So those were the two boss fights that we took on, and then we decided to go and do the next line of quests. So if we go to chapter 6 here, there's the quest of the Deep Dark, where you go in and you like sightsee all of the items in there, and then you actually have to fight a bunch of wardens. So that's what we did. We spent like 2 or 3 days like just summoning in wardens and then fighting them. I mean, I can show you, but I'm not the same health. Hold on. All right, and here we are, an ancient city. You remember that observe a guard quest we had to do at the very beginning? That's what I'm talking about sightseeing. So when you go up to one of these, or ow, okay, anyway. When you did go up to one of these, you would be able to like stare at it and it would sightsee it. And then once you did that for every single one of these, then you'd unlock the sneak 100 quest, which everyone already knows. And then we'd have to do this, which is dangerous observations, where we had to literally stare at a warden. So let me spawn one in real quick. Oh, hello, Mr. Warden. So yeah, basically when this guy spawned in, we had to just stare at him and like observe him as the guard. I know he looks a little different in this this version of Minecraft, but basically, well, he would do this. But yeah, we had to stare at him, and by this time, Winter and I both had over like 2 full bars of health and plenty of god apples and whatever, so we weren't taking much damage, and we decided to fight back at some point and just like, you know, he's not too powerful in this version. We did just fight like 2 1,000 health mobs, so we did this basically 10 or so times, and we would be awarded with the Heart of the Deep and the Warden, that thing. Honestly, neither of these things are useful, but we did it 10 times for one of the quests. I believe it was, I think it was this. I believe the training quests alongside like health ascension, strength ascension, etc. is to literally beat up like 10 wardens. I don't know why that's a thing. 20. We had to kill 20 wardens. So we would do that, and then we would be given more health for like our journey. So yeah, we sat in here for a couple days killing wardens. We'd each take turns, and our gear got demolished. But other than that, that was pretty much all we did in those couple of days. Oh, sorry about the darkness. But that is pretty much all we would do for those like 6 days is we killed those 2 bosses. We probably like explored the end a little bit more. And then we came in here, did all of our quests up until the next day. Day 79. All right, I want to reiterate that I am sorry I lost the last few days of footage, but now you're here, you're back. This is what happened after I realized that the footage was gone. We had just gone into this deeper, darker dimension, and we were working on the Warden armor set. The reason is, if we get a full completed set, we can get this super cool Elytra variant from the Skulk, or whatever this thing is called. And if we get that, well, you'll see what it does. But anyway, since we had just gotten away from that dimension, but y'all didn't see it, we went back into the deeper, darker dimension and decided to explore a little more. We ended up finding this temple-looking structure, which looks very, very cool. But these people were rich. I mean, there was some random stuff I was finding in there, like this Skulk transmitter, but also a ton of diamonds. Like, I get it. Y'all are flexing on us, but you don't have to do it this hard. From there, we flew around the dimension a little bit more. I mean, you can kind of see it's basically just all Skulk. However, we did figure out that if you mine enough of the Skulk that the entire place is made out of, you'll end up getting skill points. I mean, sure, it's a little slow, but this is technically like an almost automated farm. Day 80, we are still in this dimension because there is one quest holding us back from moving on to our final one for chapter 6, defeating a worm. We have to like find a worm that sprouts out from the ground in here and then kill it. Lucky me though, Winter got that worm to sprout out of the ground and he had to fight it. I, however, did not, so I was just flying around, just chilling while he had to do all the work. After that was done, we had to return to an ancient city and find the Stalker. Now this thing spawns when you break some gray pots. Lucky me, I got him on my 2nd try. I didn't actually want to fight this guy because I didn't know how strong or weak he was. But Winter decided to go AFK during that moment, so I had to fight him on my own. 5 seconds of basically jitter clicking later, and the guy was dead. The final boss of chapter 6, the entire storyline of Fantasy Minecraft, was beaten like that? Are you kidding me? But this does technically mean we beat chapter 6. All storyline quests were done. Like, we completed it. That was it. We're done. It only took us 80 days. Like, that's gotta be record time, at least for us. But that doesn't mean we actually beat every quest in Fantasy Minecraft. There's probably like 1,000 more out there that we'd have to do, and it would take us easily more than 1,000 hours to do. But if you, for some reason, want to see us do it, 100,000 likes and we'll 100% Fantasy Minecraft. Oh, Winter's gonna hate me for saying that. But like I said, we are only 81 days into this, so somehow we have to do some other things before we go. One was the fact that these villagers all need to lock in some frickin' traits. I started the day off by gathering some wood, not only for a build, but also for Fletchers. I made them all lock into a life of misery and moved on to planning out a barn/farm build near the house. I know we just completed the entire storyline, but I'm bored and I want to build. It may not be a trophy room like Winter's building or some kind of cool structure, but I'm tackling a build nonetheless. And if we're gonna continue this world, I'm gonna need a farm. By the end of the day, I was able to place down the pillars for the design and fill out the ground where this place was gonna be because the dirt was a little bit too low. Now, of course, I didn't finish the project, so the next couple of days was still working on this place. And since it's pretty basic, I'll cut through it quickly. The barn starts off with a maple and spruce design, just kinda a box that we fill in as time goes on. I wanted to add in calcite because it's really been part of the theme in this video, so I made a small castle tower to not leave it out. Once the frame and roof were in place, I wanted to design the animal pens. Some fences would have been way too plain, so I came up with this stone sort of pen cage thing. I think it looks good. And each area is going to be the exact same size, so any cows, sheep, or chickens I get won't suffer too badly in here. Day 85, I led over the chickens to their new home, and they didn't seem to like it at all. But those are chickens. Who knows what they're thinking? Also, I wanted to add in more animals, so I had to find them. And apparently I got this sick double jump totem charm thing or whatever, so I was just bouncing around the world on the hunt for sheep. After that, I made the path from the barn to my house, and it's a start. We might eventually continue this path, either doing 200 days or 100%ing this thing, but at least the layout will look good. Then I also decided to add the farm aspect. I mean, you knew it was gonna happen. This is a barn, we need a farm on the right side of it. And I think I planned out this area 60 days ago or something and just never used it. You know what else happened, more than 60 or so days ago? Winter and I picking our origins, and me regretting my pick. But guess who found a quest that could change all of it? Yeah, that's right, I found a quest that allowed me to change my origin. I did that in a heartbeat, and I'm now a half-elf. You know what, world? I've joined the Short Kings for this video. Plus the added bonus of villagers getting ripped off even more. Thus, I started off the next day by doing some villager trades, or re-rolling, if you will. A job that no one wants, but Winter's too busy, so it's up to me. I rolled for Unbreaking 2. Somehow, we had gone this entire time without that enchant. We just happened to be lucky with our books, I guess. After adding that to my soul elytra, I took it out for a test drive and learned that it flew itself. I don't need rockets with this thing. Every once in a while, it'll just use the Warden's ability to boost you through the sky. Oh, you may be wondering, what the heck is Winter building next to his base? Well, it's not a barn, I'll tell you that. He has the brain cells to work on a display room for all the cool stuff we've gotten in the last 80 plus days. Then I went to work on making the Staff of Suppression, a tool that will stop mobs from spawning in a 64 block radius. With this thing down and these creepers out of the way, nothing can spawn in my slow growing village. Speaking of slow, your boy's going back to the Nether. See, I saw this sick looking gear and tools that were super effective and fast, but it is made out of Nether ruby, and this is the start of my search. I didn't know what biome to visit to try and find this thing, so I was just hoping and praying I could find it on my own. Eventually, in probably the most bland of all the biomes, I spotted it on the ceiling. I don't exactly know how much I need, but maybe Winter wants some too, so I grabbed it all. Then I made the conscious decision to stay in the Nether for even longer and look for an ancient city in here. I don't know why they'd spawn in here, but they do. I think it was just a landmark quest that I had to do. I mean, I don't have to do it. We finished all the quests. We did. But there are still other ones that I figured I may as well just go ahead and visit one. When I got there, I was ambushed by 100 ghasts. Who the heck approved this? No one likes these guys, and they sound horrible in this mod pack. Day 89. You want to hear something dumb? Apparently, we still have side quests that need completing from the storyline. They technically don't make you do them, but we are here doing 100% of this thing, so I went out on the hunt for Lily of the Valley. It's a flower that spawns in the world naturally. However, this took me way too long to find, by the way. But it leads you to the Void Blossom, another boss. I actually ended up finding the flower in a villager greenhouse. That's how bad my luck is. I couldn't find it anywhere, so I had to steal it from a greenhouse. While I was doing all that work, Winter finished his display house, so I was able to check it out. Inside, he had like armor stands and pedestals so he could display all of the cool stuff we'd gotten through the 100 days. And I'll be honest, it did look really nice in here. I do want to make one of these now, but I don't think I have the time to. Day 92. We decided to go after that Void Blossom, and I had crafted the Void Lily at this point, which is a flower that when you put it down, will show a pollen trail that leads you to the boss. We followed it until it started to point down. And it was a lot closer than we expected. Keep in mind, these elytras power themselves, so we are prepared to book it. After walking 8,000 blocks for another boss though, we were kinda over traveling. After we mined down, we saw the boss bar and I made it into the arena. This thing is like a walk down memory lane. I know all of its moves way too well, and I got to teach Winter all of her tactics too. Every phase, she gains a new ability and will heal off the flowers that she spawns in the room. The first couple of rounds are always fun to deal with. She is a tough boss, and she knows it. After getting her to half, the cages started to spawn. Things that try and keep us out of the flower's range. But we have double jump, which made it way too easy to get in. After breaking all of the healing flowers, we both decided simultaneously to just go in and kill her at this point. Unfortunately, like I said, she's powerful and just started shredding our health, more so than any other boss before. However, we killed her in that last stand, marking off another quest. But if you thought we were done with the Void Blossom, we're not. There were more side quests we had to do. And it's time for the Blackstone Golem. I've fought him many times on the channel before, so once again, let's go through the steps. First, you go to the Nether and gather Blackstone. Like a bunch of Blackstone. Then you use a stone cutter to craft up the 4 placement pedestals you need for the Blackstone shards that you get from killing piglin brutes. Once you make a giant platform in the Nether, you can't do this in the overworld, with all 4 of those little platforms and shards sitting inside of them, he will start building himself. Then you have a boss fight on your hands.
You.
Feels like 2 hearts. Spawns a little bed. It'll turn blue here in a second.
I have my light on, so.
And blue guy at half. Yep, hold on. Yep.
I was just hanging those heads, Jesus.
As a reward for killing him, you get his heart, a permanent buff on your health. Or you can make his arm, but like no one cares about that. Now, you may not believe this one, but of the last 2 challenges we had to do, one of them required us making fruit juices. Yeah, I don't even know how that's possible at this point, but we have to, so Winter's at home making the juices and I gotta go find the fruit. In a not so nearby jungle, I found the pineapple we needed. I still can't believe we're doing this. Then I went to a desert nearby looking for Suguru Geto in plant form. But since I only know what he looks like in the anime, it took me a minute to find this plant. With that though, I returned to Winter and gave him his fruit. The last quest on the list, well, okay, technically side quest, turns out we've already done it. We just did it in the wrong order. Remember the lich and, his tower? Well, we're back for revenge, and round 2 is nothing like round 1. This time, we charged at him in the sky because we have no regard for our lives whatsoever. I think Winter's making me do this, I'll be honest. We chopped him up midair, which seemed to be the move. I'll tell you what, he died a lot faster that time. It really was rewarding to see him just plummet, and plus we didn't have to be at his tower the whole time. But literally at the very last moment of the video, I thought we had done it already, okay, but Winter wanted to do these side quests, so 90 plus days later we finished the entire storyline of fantasy Minecraft. That is what they want you to go through in this mod pack. Go through boss fights, gearing up, playing with Winter. Y'all can have him. I don't want him at this point, I'm sick of this guy. But we had done it. There was nothing left for us to do. So instead of doing stuff for these 100 days, we decided to prepare for the next one. In case you guys want us to play the next one. One of the very random challenges we have to do is beat 20 Ender Dragons, which would be impossible in the time that we currently have left, so that's why we're making it all happen for the next video. I went to the end to gather up Ender Pearls, then I hopped in the Nether for some blaze rods, and then tore the heck up out of the desert for glass, all while Winter is in the Nether farming ghasts for their tiers. We did this on a massive scale, okay? We needed 80 crystals to summon in all of those dragons, and, well, technically we're not going to use them this video, it's still fun to prepare. Day 100, the big 100, the big that one number. We had gathered all 80 crystals, and like I said, we can't use them in 20 minutes. So instead of doing that, we decided we'd go to the end and summon in the Ender Dragon one last time. Sure, we won't get any quests out of it, we'll probably get a Lord Soul, but we can't use it, and overall it'll most likely be an easy fight. But honestly, we beat the fantasy part of this mod pack, so it's time to go back to Minecraft. Thank you guys so much for watching the video to the end. I know it seemed a bit rushed, that's cause it kind of was. I've been lacking on y'all a bit too much, so I wanted to make sure I'd get a vid out. If you are new, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. And like the video not only if you enjoyed it, but also if you want me and Winter to 100% every quest in Fantasy Minecraft. I appreciate the love and support, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.